How we doing? How we doing? Welcome in. It is A to Z Sports Prime Time here on a Tuesday night. I am your host, Sam Phelan, here with you. Gonna have a good show this evening because we are here recapping a little bit of NFL free agency, but I'm actually gonna start turning the table. I'm gonna start turning the clock. We're gonna look ahead. We are going to look ahead to the NFL draft. We are going to look at an NFL mock draft, and where I will say the Titans did the unfathomable in this mock draft. And this is not just a random mock draft that you see online. This is a notable, reputable outlet coming out with a mock draft that I think would shock Titans fans and do the unfathomable. It is March 18th. So we've got a great show here for you on a Tuesday night. And maybe you got college basketball on. Maybe you're watching a little bit of Alabama State and who are they even playing? St. Francis. We're going to talk some brackets later. We're going to talk some hoops. I want to know who you guys got. Let's get some hot takes in here later on in the show. So we're going to get to it. I see some questions in the chat. Well, you will find out, Jonathan Russell in the chat. You will find out why the graphic looks how the graphic looks. Got a great show today, though, so make sure you go ahead and share the show. Leave a like on the show while you're with me here. I need to see those like numbers go up. If you're watching on Facebook, hit that share button in the bottom right corner. Get the word out there that A to Z Sports is live here on Primetime because, trust me, you're going to want to see this. People are going to want to see this. So let's make sure that you let them know that we are live here on a Tuesday night. Share the show, like the show, and then keep an eye on the Twitter X timeline as well for more ways to share. All right. Welcome in, A to Z Sports Primetime. Not in the Zen Sports Studios tonight, even though I'm in a little bit of a different setup. I'm not your host, Buck Rising. I am Sam Phelan, and I'll be with you on Tuesday nights all throughout the NFL offseason leading up to the NFL draft. I am presented to you, as always, by my friends over at Two Rivers Ford. Two Rivers Ford, one of the South's most trusted Ford dealers. You can go and see them at tworiversford.com for more information. It's March. It's NCAA tournament season. You can go to Zen Sports. That's your place to bet for the NCAA tournament. Use the promo code ATOZTN in the Zen Sports app. Get some deals like a $100 no danger first wager, which is great in March. What better place in March than Zen Sports for you to go? If you're in need of a new workout program, you can go to TrueMav Fitness, TrueMavFitness.com. You get your first workout free as a Middle Tennessee resident, and no workout is ever recycled or repeated at TrueMav. TrueMavFitness.com. They're located in the Gulch. You can go there for more information. And my friends at Bart Durham. Bart Durham Injury Law. Your big truck wreck is their fight for justice. A crash can change your life forever. And they're just one phone call away at Bart Durham. Okay. I think we have all sort of come to terms with this very idea that Derek says on YouTube. And as Dalen says, we're already hitting people's I'm bored mock drafts. Now, this very well, I would agree. I think this is where we're going. But I talked a little bit earlier this week on the A to Z Sports Morning Show about Titans draft situation because everybody's getting here. Ward or bust. That is where we've all gotten. It seems like the Titans are priming themselves to draft Cam Ward. That's how I heard from people at the NFL Combine that the Titans are absolutely Cam Ward over Shedeur Sanders, that there were people in the building that were out on Cam Ward before the offseason. So going into the evaluation process, a lot of people with the Titans were not expecting to like Cam Ward. And the more that they've gotten into his tape, the more that they've gotten to see from him up close and personal, the more that they've gotten to know him and his character and speak to him. And it's been gradual up to this point. It has not been much interaction. The Titans have started to buy into Cam Ward. Right? Wrong? Not sure. It's going to define the Mike Borgonzi era, what he does with this number one overall pick. But the Titans right now are leaning Cam Ward over Shedeur Sanders. And based on how free agency played out, we have no choice but to assume that's kind of where they're leaning in the draft. Brian says it could be smoke and mirrors. And yes, look, any information nowadays, it's lying season, right? It could always be smoke and mirrors. But I think the way that the Titans did free agency lets us know that it's a little bit more than smoke and mirrors. Are you going to go into the season with Brandon Allen and Will Levis at quarterback? To me, that's a tough sell to Miss Amy, as LAC says, because it all comes down to what Miss Amy wants. At the end of the day, owners are owners for a reason. They call the shots. I think that is a hard sell to your fans with a new stadium coming. It's a hard sell to ownership. I don't see that happening. Brandon Allen and Will Levis is maybe a step down, likely a step down from Mason Rudolph and Will Levis. So how after 3-14, when you identify quarterback play as one of your biggest problems, if not the biggest, if not the number one, like the problem that made you 3-14, right? How are you going to go in with worse in 2025? I don't see that happening, right? Based on what they've done in free agency, unless we're still about to get a Jameis Winston signing, unless we're going to get Russell Wilson signing. I don't think Russell Wilson's happening. Aaron Rodgers isn't happening. And they bulked up on the defensive front, or offensive front, sorry. They gave Dan Moore $30 million in 2025. He has a cap hit of $26 million in 2026. They spent pretty big on a left tackle to solve this problem. It all points to Cam Ward. But then there's the whole equation of 3 teams at the top of the draft that are all in need of a quarterback and only 2 quarterbacks. The Raiders have found their guy. The Jets have found their guy. The Seahawks have found their guy, at least for this season. I don't think any of those teams are in the conversation to come up to number 1 anymore. That's done. 3 question marks: Tennessee, Cleveland, New York. First 3 picks in the draft. Myles Garrett seems to be insinuating, hinting at the Browns drafting a quarterback at number 2. Derek says it's too damn bad. Those other teams can't have Cam. Maybe. But there is also a chance that somebody does something stupid. And if you're Mike Borgonzi, right? Because this take, I don't hate this take. I don't hate this take from Derek, but this is coming from Derek, the Titans fan. If you're Mike Borgonzi and you're sitting there, ring, 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 ring. Hey, it's Joe Shane with the Giants. We want to give you multiple first-round picks to jump up 2 spots. We want to overpay. Well, I'm Mike Borgonzi. My job's not in question. My job's not in jeopardy, regardless of what we do in 2025. So now, maybe I take the haul. Boss man says it. Give me the haul all day. And if you take the haul, what does your team look like? What do you do at quarterback then? That's what happened in the latest mock draft that I saw today. I was just scrolling. I didn't plan on talking about this on the show. And here is what Pro Football Focus, PFF, wrote in their latest mock draft for the Titans at number 1. A trade. The New York Giants come up to number 1 overall. They get Cam Ward. The Giants receive pick number 1. The Titans get number 3, number 65, next year's first-round pick, and next year's third-round pick. So that is a 1 and a 3, a 1 and a 3. Is that enough? You be the judge of that. What if it was a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 3? Does that change it? Let's go ahead and get to this first question. This is a little bit wordy. I hope you guys understand where I'm going with this morning. What draft picks are enough for the Titans to move off of first overall? What draft picks are enough For you as a Titans fan, knowing that you have got Cam Ward, a bird in the hand, are you chasing two in the bush? How many draft picks are enough? Let me know in the chat, because as Bork says, that could be two top 12 picks. It could be two top 5 picks. I don't think it's crazy to think that the Giants could suck again and the Titans could suck again. And you could be sitting with 3rd overall this year and then 2 picks in the top 5 next year. So what would it take for you to move out of that pick? That's question number 1 today. While you guys are firing away in the chat, I'm going to fire away and let you know about my friends over at Two Rivers Ford. This is the South's most trusted Ford dealer at Two Rivers Ford, because everywhere I go, I see a Ford Bronco, and Ford Broncos are diverse. They got all kinds of different types and colors and options and packages. And this is why the Two Rivers Ford team is inviting you to get to know the Ford Bronco. It's an open invitation for you to go in. You don't even need to be in the market for a vehicle. You can just go meet these Bronco experts that are on hand to educate you about the Bronco, answer questions, let you test drive, show you the off-road capabilities, a really cool car that you can go learn about at Two Rivers Ford. And the Two Rivers Ford team doesn't even work on commission. They're simply there to educate you, to answer questions, to introduce you to the Bronco. It's one of many reasons why Two Rivers Ford is the South's most trusted Ford dealer. So you can go see my friends at Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet, just 7 miles east of the airport, and get to know the Ford Bronco. Two Rivers Ford is your Ford Bronco headquarters. All right. What is the capital? How many draft picks? What draft picks would it take for you to move off the number 1 overall pick, for you to feel good about it as a Titans fan? Dalen says where you're dropping back to. Well, you're dropping back to 3. This is a trade with the Giants. The Giants call. Hello? What are they offering you that you say, I love Cam Ward, I like the quarterback, I simply can't say no to this? Steven says if it's 3rd overall and 33 overall, so instead of a 1 and a 3, a 1 and a 3, he wants a 1 and a 2, a 1 and a 2. Which is, I'll be honest, that's not that far off from what you're talking about here. 133, 2026 first, 2026 third. You're just bumping up those picks. Justin wants 3 firsts and 2 seconds, which I think is not going to happen. I respect it. Justin must love himself some Cam Ward, because it's a lot. LAC says a 2025 1 and 2, and then a 2026 1 and 3 are enough. So he's even closer to this mark, right? Number 3 overall, number 65 overall, and then the 2026 third. All LAC's doing is taking that number 65 pick and then making it number 34. I believe that is what that would be. We have, let's see, a 1, 2, 3, and a next year 1 and 2 from Duran, which is another real big payday. I think that's close to Ben, or Justin rather, and I think that's too much. Ben says the Giants have to give up 3 and 33, and then next year's 1st and 3rd. So he's exactly with LAC. I think this is the right answer, by the way. I think this is totally the right answer. I think, and this is all relative. I mean, because I used to think the Titans should take whatever they could to move back to 3 overall, but that was under the idea that the Titans didn't like a quarterback. If you don't like a quarterback, if you're not sold on Cam Ward and you're the Titans, literally take a 2nd round pick and move back, because you need that you need those assets, and you're fine at 3rd overall. But if you like Cam Ward and you're tempted, and Ken says if you believe Cam is your guy, there is none. That's maybe. It's a real tough situation to be in, because you could like Cam, but also think that you could like a guy like you might feel good about the 2026 draft class and feel like you're totally fine if you're Mike Borgonzi not drafting a QB this year. Derek says 2 firsts, 1 second, and next year's 3rd. Throw in a 7 for a 4. So he's pretty similar to the rest of us. I actually agree with where you guys are all at. because I think now with the idea that the Titans like Cam Ward, that the Titans are in on Cam Ward, if it's number 3 overall and a second rounder, and then you get next year's first and a third rounder, you cannot say no to that. If the Titans take that, trade back, I think you're good. And it's this word that is in here from PFF, desperation. Desperation sets in as the Giants make a titanic move to acquire the number 1 overall pick. I still think there's a chance the Giants get desperate and they offer something like that, and the Titans sort of have to pivot. All of that makes sense. What happened next in this mock draft did not make sense. I'll tell you that right now. It did not make sense. I'll tell you what it was real quick. I'll tell you also about my buddy Gary Ashton, the official realtor of the Nashville Predators. Don't sell without the intel. Get your dream address without the stress. The intel that you need to succeed with the official realtor of the Nashville Predators at GaryAshton.com. So the Titans traded back, and I was sitting there being like, okay, interesting. The Titans are about to land Abdul Carter and all these picks. What a win. Pro Football Focus said Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart. Everybody take this in. The Titans make a trade from number 1 to number 3 overall. The Titans profit from the Giants' desperation and take Dart while gaining multiple picks to build out their team over the next 2 years. With the best data profile of any quarterback in the class, Dart has arm talent, accuracy, and athleticism to become a franchise NFL quarterback. Jackson Dart at 3 overall. Now, I've got a lot of thoughts on this. And a lot of them are what you guys are saying in the chat. Skulls, bro, what? No way. Derek says an F no. Oh, nah, not feeling taking Dart at 3. Fire everyone if this is what happens. PFF guys must have been smoking something good. I hope you guys understand why I had to talk about this on the show, because I was scrolling. I'm like, all right, we're going to talk about some free agency stuff, maybe some bigger picture stuff. I thought about getting into the top 30 visits, and I clicked on a PFF mock draft and said, Jackson Dart? Now, let me say this. Calm down, because the Titans are not taking Jackson Dart. The Titans are not taking Jackson Dart. Let me say, the Titans are not drafting Jackson Dart. It's not going to happen. It will not happen. No chance in hell. I don't deserve to have this job if the Titans take Jackson Dart. We shouldn't even be here right now. We should probably stop watching the team in general. It's not going to happen. From the people that I've talked to, they don't like him. They're not a fan of his game. They would not been impressed by him in the pre-draft process. Even if they were, he's a second round pick, like Brian says, like the 33rd overall pick. I know I'm not exactly saying bold take that they're not going to take Jackson Dart, but I want to reiterate, don't panic about this. Literally, I'm going to ask you guys this question because I find it so hilarious. Who would you rather have as the Titans QB in 2025? Jackson Dart or Will Levis? Who would you rather have? I'm genuinely very curious. Jackson Dart or Will Levis? Because me personally, I'd want Will Levis for a handful of reasons. Not just like, you can coin flip who's better at quarterback to me right now, but Levis is on your roster. Levis doesn't require you to invest a big draft pick. Levis is familiar with Brian Callahan's offense. Levis is easier to cut ties with. And Levis, if he's bad, you get a guy next year. And you guys are agreeing with me in the chat. Levis all day. Mayo. Steven wants Jackson Dart, but Levis to the power of 10. Will Levis with ease. Levis, I can see it improving. Like, hey, Titans. Hey, anybody in the Titans front office, if you're listening, if you're checking it out, and maybe you were kicking the tires on a Jackson Dart thing, we're good. It's that Colin Cowherd. Hey, LeBron, we're all good. Hey, Cam Ward, We're good. Jackson Dart is here. No, we need to stay the heck away from Jackson Dart at all costs. Levis is, you're better off genuinely in that situation, though. And this is why this mock draft made no sense. You trade back, you get all of these assets. You have to feel pumped if you're a Titans fan about getting all of these assets. Even if you love Cam Ward, there's so much here that's exciting. So much here to get hyped up about. And then this, but okay, let's also walk through this mock draft because I should say both Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter were on the board. They had Cleveland taking Shedeur Sanders. So this mock draft went Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart. I think Will Johnson was fourth. They had Abdul Carter making it all the way to the Jets at 7 overall. Makes no sense. No sense. So I agree with that initial comment off the bat. Like, are we just in I'm bored season? Are we just in we're going to predict things that have no chance of happening? Abdul Carter's not falling to 7th overall. Now, if the Titans make this trade and then it's Abdul Carter at 3, okay, I'm in. You can talk me into it. I would subscribe to another year of Will Levis at quarterback in 2025. Give Levis the chance to develop, and if he doesn't, you suck again and you draft the dude in 2026, and you've got all the draft capital in the world to do it. I would subscribe to that in a second before I subscribed to this. You are not that desperate for a quarterback. And oh, by the way, the word desperation is used as if the Giants go and get desperate for a quarterback. If the Titans were this desperate for a quarterback to draft Jackson Dart at 3 overall, they wouldn't be trading the number 1 overall pick to begin with, because the gap is significant between these QB prospects. I just had to get that off my chest a little bit, because one of the more outlandish things I've seen in the sports world in quite some time. Sometimes I see some wacky stuff in draft season and free agency season, but it was out there. We can move it on. I want to talk, as always, I want to talk brackets. Why would we not want to talk brackets? If you've been tuning into the show all week, you might be sick of me talking about it, but I love this week. I'll get you out of here pretty early in case you want to go and throw on UNC. Let's see what the score is in this Alabama State game right now. Get a 68-68. It's coming down to the wire on True TV. Looking like an absolutely electric game. So, what is your hottest take about the NCAA tournament this year? Drop them. Let's go. Hottest take about the NCAA tournament this year. Maybe it's your winner. Maybe it's somebody in the Final Four. Maybe it's a big upset. If you have any questions about my picks, what you should pick, let's just open the dialogue right now to recap the tournament. I want to know all of your hot takes on your brackets. Let's go and win the pool. While you guys do that, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to come with a not so hot take, kind of a duh take, which is that True Math Fitness is where to go for your first workout free as a Middle Tennessee resident in the Gulch, truemathfitness.com. No workout is ever recycled or repeated. They have personal training. They have group fitness classes. Memberships also offer an open gym. That's True Math Fitness. And Bart Durham Injury Law. A crash can change your life forever. Bart Durham is here to help. They're only a phone call away. You can reach him 24/7 to get legal questions answered at 615-242-9000 because you deserve to be paid. Attorneys are available to meet with you wherever is most convenient, including virtually. So visit the website, bartdurham.com, for current news, blogs, to contact or live chat. And let's get back to it. Hot takes on the NCAA tournament. Mizzou making their first Final Four from Kenneth. Kenneth, I unfortunately have Mizzou losing in the first round. Drake. Watch out for Drake. They have a guy named Bennett Sturts on their basketball team that is sort of a D2 legend, as I am anxiously awaiting these foul shots in Alabama State, St. Francis. Bennett Sturts, D2 legend, transferred in with his Division II coach. He's been absolutely taking over for them. They've got Drake has the best defense, one of the best defenses in the country. I think they're number one by points allowed, but by metrics, it's probably Houston. But they're up there in defense. They slow you down. And I think a lot of SEC teams are going to get, we got a missed shot with 10 seconds. Does St. Francis hit a buzzer beater? Or do we have overtime? I'm on the edge of my seat here for a 16 seed playing game. I think a lot of SEC teams, this is kind of a hot take, are going to get surprised by pace of play at some point in the tournament. I think we are going to see a lot of teams like Alabama, like Mizzou, teams that are high octane, high offense, go against teams that just slow you down and bleed you to death and play good defense and pass the ball. And it's going to be a style that they're not super familiar with. One of my biggest knocks on the SEC this year is they haven't played Power 5, high quad 1 competition from out of conference schedules all that often. It's a lot of teams that play the same stylistically as them. I think Mizzou might fall victim to that. BYU wins the bracket from Dalen. I also had BYU losing in the first round. I like VCU to make actually a very deep run. That's one of my hottest takes in the entire draft. Nolan says not as many upsets. I think this is a great call by Nolan. If you look at some of the metrics, you have 4 of the, maybe you'll have upsets, but I don't think you'll have upsets of the top 2 seeds. I think we are going to get all of the 7 of 8 of the 1s and 2s are going to be like making pretty deep runs into the Sweet 16. That's kind of where I think this is going to go. I have Houston and Tennessee making the Elite 8 in a 1-2 matchup. I have Duke making the Elite 8 as a 1 seed. I have a 1-2 matchup between Michigan State and Arizona in the Elite 8. And I have St. John's making the Elite 8. So I have 6 of my Elite 8, I think, are 1s and 2 seeds. I think this is a good call by Nolan. The entire league has been very top-heavy this year. We have Vols from Brian Spivey. Terps winning it. The Crab 5, very good. Maryland playing some real good basketball right now. Tennessee, I think if there's one team out of the SEC, if I'm betting odds an SEC team to cut down the nets, I think it's Auburn number 1. I would go with Tennessee number 2. I think Tennessee has a better shot than even Florida because Tennessee can play defense and they play defense consistently. And I think they are more ready for the challenges of, like, for example, when UCLA comes to town in round 2, that UCLA team is suffocating defensively. And that's okay for a Tennessee team because Tennessee's not trying to score 85 points to beat you. They can beat you in a lot of different ways, which I like. Derek thinks it's an all SEC Final Four. I don't have an SEC team in my Final Four. So polar opposites. UNC takes it all. That is a total hot take because most people will tell you they don't deserve to be in the tournament. And Patrika says St. Francis deserves to lose this game, and it looks like they did because Alabama State made a layup with 1 second remaining. So I believe this game is over. Terry says nothing lower than a 4th plus a second-round pick is what he would take. Well, you have pretty low standards from what we were saying. Not in a bad way, but from what we were saying in the chat, that's pretty cheap. I think most people would be pretty upset about that, Terry. Nick thinks Tom Izzo will get his 2nd championship. I don't hate that pick. I'm not picking MSU, but I do have MSU in the Final Four. And a game winner. Welcome to March. This is what we do. Amber says, why are there so many dart people in these comments? What do you mean? Why are there so many dart people? I feel like we're all anti-dart. If there is a Jackson Dart person in the comments here, please reveal yourself. I think the chat was pretty loud and clear about how we feel about Jackson Dart being in the to the Titans at number 3 overall. Patrica wants to know how far I have Florida going. I have Florida losing actually in the Sweet 16 to Maryland. I am taking an upset there on. I'm upset there, Maryland over Florida in the Sweet 16. I'm a little worried about Florida. I think Florida's getting a lot of hype right now, and I don't know if I'm all the way in on that just yet. So my Final Four, Michigan State. I have St. John's making it out of their region. I have Maryland losing in the Elite Eight to St. John's after they beat Florida. So I have Michigan State, St. John's, Duke, Houston, with Houston as the national champion. Really a big fan of this Houston team. So that's my call. So I think if you're in a bracket pool right now, most people will be on Duke. Most people will be on Florida. Those are the top 2 picks that I've seen. Those are going to be the 2 most popular picks. You might want to deviate from that. I would not recommend picking a non-1 or 2 seed to win the national title. I think in a year like this, it is going to be one of these favorites that wins it all. Likely a big name 1 or 2 seed, like a team that's been doing it for a while. Duke as like a blue blood, or Houston, who's now put 5 straight seasons of 30 wins together. It's going to be one of those teams. So that's why I'm on Houston. I think the best bet for your money in a bracket pool is going to be a team like Houston. I think only 8% of brackets have Houston winning it right now. And I think they have just as good of a shot as any of those other 1 seeds. So you got to find a way to separate yourself a little bit in a bracket, but you can't get too unrealistic either. My biggest upset, or I guess biggest Cinderella, VCU Virginia Commonwealth going all the way to the Elite 8. Favorite thing about them is their continuity. Most of their starters have been playing together for over 3 years now. And similar to Tennessee, VCU can kind of win in a lot of different ways. They have a lot of good chemistry, really good ball movement. They're towards the top of Division I in assists, and it's guys that have played together. So they don't really like rely on the 3-pointer, rely on tempo, rely on any of these things. I think VCU is a team that could really be built for March. That's my hot take. My hottest take, probably. You heard her here first, boss man. I cannot wait. This is my favorite. And do I really think St. John's will make the Final Four? I don't know. My gut says no, but like the data says yes. St. John's has lost 4 games this year by a combined 7 points. And they've played really, really, really good competition. They have so many quad 1 matchups. And they just absolutely dominated the Big East in the second half of the year. So Rick Pitino is a good coach. He's won championships before. I think he can at least make another run to the Final Four. And I actually think they get a pretty good draw on their side of the bracket to make it to the Elite 8. I don't see anybody on that side of their bracket like rivaling them before the Elite 8. I don't think Texas Tech could beat St. John's. So I feel decent about that. And then it's all about like, can you win one game? Can you win one game? I really like that team. I also like teams. Houston is this way. St. John's is this way. They shoot the 3 very well, but they don't shoot the 3 a lot, which is good because you can score when you need to, but you're not you're not relying on like just sitting behind the arc and cashing in a good shooting day in order to win. That's all for me tonight. Go watch some basketball. Go kick your feet up. Go get a drink. Go hang out, whatever, on a Tuesday night. Try to decompress from all of the stress that this Jackson Dart pick might have given you. I'll be back tomorrow morning on the A to Z Sports Morning Show with Easton Freeze, and I'm going over tomorrow morning my mock draft for the Titans, a 7-round mock draft by me, what I think they're going to do at every pick. Don't want to miss it. Keep it locked on AtoZSports.com for more written content as well throughout the week. Like the show before you go. Till then, tighten up. We'll see you.